Hi, my name is Tim Cooper with York School District 1. I want to provide some information to you today about student mobile devices, appropriate use of those devices, and help you prepare for success for the school year with our student devices. Today in the presentation, we're going to look at some information and expectations regarding our technology use in the district, our district's approach to technology and learning, how you and your students can care and use these devices, how you can monitor student activity, and also how to access Canvas and some other online resources that we have available. First, our beliefs about technology and learning. Here in York School District 1, we believe that technology can enhance student learning in our schools. We do not believe that it's about a specific learning device, but instead changing the way teaching and learning is done in our schools to give our students access to current information, to enhance our instructional practices, and also to improve student achievement. It's important to note that technology is just one tool that is available to our teachers and students, but other resources will continue to be important tools as well. We're not setting aside textbooks and manipulatives in our schools for our devices, and we don't expect our students to be in front of those devices all day long. In your School District 1 this year, we will be able to allocate devices to students in grades 7 through 12, and we'll be allocating Chromebooks for this school year. The device should be available for access throughout the school day while the students are being supervised by a classroom teacher, so use is a part of their regular instruction. Our teachers are learning effective ways to use these devices as a part of their instruction and assessment as well, and we expect that they will continue to grow right along with their students throughout the school year. In order for a student to take home a device to extend their learning, parent must do three things. First, they must participate. They have to participate in one of the parent sessions, whether it's this online session or done in person. They must agree. They must accept responsibility along with their child for the proper care and use of the device, and they must sign. They must sign and completed appropriate paperwork, accepting responsibility for the device. Should the student leave York School District 1, they are responsible for turning that device back to their child's home school immediately. Should you transfer to another school district or leave York School District 1 in any way, we are expecting that device to be returned. Failure to return that assigned device may result in law enforcement action. Let's talk for a minute about caring for the device. First off, all of the devices are individually assigned to the student using an ID label placed on that device. Please keep that ID label on the device. If your label comes off, please go to one of your school representatives and they can work to provide a new label. Don't apply heavy pressure to the device. Setting it underneath a stack of books, underneath a potted plant is not a good idea for electronics and especially computerized devices. They will crack, they will break. Please use caution when you're carrying it and also storing that device. Use caution as you're carrying it with other books. Be careful how you put it inside of a backpack. And then also as you work to clean the screen and the keyboard, a simple, soft, dry cloth is really all that's needed to clean that device. We recognize that sometimes the damage may occur to the devices. Should that happen, students should report that damage to their device immediately. School representative, teachers, the device damage needs to be reported immediately so that it can be addressed. Devices should never be left unattended. Please don't leave it in an unlocked vehicle. Don't leave it sitting on the dashboard of a car or seat of a car. Don't put it in any other unsafe places. Don't leave it by itself inside of a classroom unless that room is going to be locked. Make sure that you know where you're leaving your device at all times. Students and parents will be responsible for costs related to necessary repair to fix damages to the device. If there is malicious damage to a device that belongs to the district, our students and parents will be responsible for the repair or replacement costs. We have a good partnership with law enforcement in our area. Lost and stolen devices should be reported both to the school and to local law enforcement within 48 hours of that device being lost. If it's lost outside of the school, a copy of a police report must be submitted to the school. And if this incident occurs outside of our school district or out of town, you should file that police report in the area in which the incident occurred. Now let's talk a little bit about expectations. First off, it's important to note we do not expect our students to be on devices all day, every day. We do expect that the devices are brought to school every day and brought to every class. They may not be used in every class every time, but just like paper and pencil, they need to be available throughout the school day. Devices must be brought to school fully charged every day. The charger should stay at home. The student is responsible for charging that device and having it fully charged when they come to school. The batteries will last all day long under normal usage, so there's no need for the chargers at our schools. Students who leave their device at home will still be responsible for completing the schoolwork. This is not a chance to get out of your schoolwork by leaving your device at home. In keeping with our school district policy, the use of cameras in the restrooms and locker rooms is strictly prohibited. That means that the use of cameras on our mobile devices as well is strictly prohibited in those places. A student must obtain permission in order to make public any photos or videos that are taken with the device. This includes class activities, class projects. You need to ensure with your teacher that you have permission to take photos and use those photos as a part of your presentations. Unauthorized photos and recordings may be subject to disciplinary action, just as we would in other school discipline situations. It's important to note that district-owned devices will be signed in and associated with school-monitored accounts. We have the ability to monitor all of our student accounts. It's the parent's responsibility to monitor that activity on those devices. Parents need to know your child's usernames and passwords, and this goes outside of school as well. Parents should have a good idea of what their students do on the internet, and we collectively have the responsibility, both our parents and our schools have the responsibility to both monitor and inspect the student device use. Our school district reserves the right to investigate any inappropriate use of resources and to monitor, review, and restrict the information that is stored or sent via any school district-owned device or service. Parents, you too should also inspect devices at home and monitor your child's use of the internet. And I'll show you in just a minute how you can monitor some of that work. At school, our internet is filtered in order to provide a safe internet connection. Our district-owned devices that are used at home are also filtered under that same policy. Parents and students still remain responsible for the content that is viewed on the devices, and both parents and students should report any inappropriate activity immediately. So let's talk a little bit about how to be successful with your device at home. First off, place limits. Just because we have a new device at your home doesn't mean you need to be on it all the time. You need to take breaks. You need to go outside. You need to get up and walk around and have some fun with friends. So limit your usage of your device. We don't want you in front of a screen all day long. We recommend that these devices are used in a public space inside your home. It's important for parents to know what students are doing, how often they're on their devices, and where they happen to be surfing on those devices, and what work they're doing. So working in a public space, or at least in a space where it's easy for you to interact with your child, is important. We recommend that you set up a charging location in your home, a place where your devices can rest and your students can rest as well. Typically that place it can be in a public space, a hallway, a living space. Out of the bedroom is a best suggestion when it comes to storing your devices overnight. So the temptation to play all night long on a device is not there anymore. We also recommend that parents check the internet history on devices. And again, we'll show you how to look at that in just a minute. The district is not responsible for data that might be lost due to the occasional updates of devices or reimaging of those devices. Occasionally it's necessary to erase a Chromebook or other device when information does not seem to be working properly, and that may cause loss of data. Student work should always be saved in our district provided OneDrive storage or inside of Canvas to ensure that it's available at all times. When it's placed in OneDrive, when it's placed in Canvas, it will always be available even if that device is damaged, if the device is re-imaged, or you want to work on a different machine. The district does reserve the right to take back, to repossess any device the student fails to comply with all of the terms of the personal mobile computing guide, the acceptable use policy, or the mobile device agreement. That device remains the school district's property, and it remains our right to reserve that and take that back. It's important that we all share the responsibility of teaching our students what's appropriate when we're online. The idea of being a good digital citizenship is just as important as being a good face-to-face citizen as well. Our district expects our students to use technology both appropriately as well as responsibly, and as such we have designed a curriculum using services from those including Common Sense Media that help promote the best practices when it comes to digital citizenship. Our parents are an important part of this effort. And parents, you should continue this conversation about what good digital citizenship looks like at home, what your expectations are of your students at home. As a part of accepting a device from the school district, our students must accept the student pledge for district-owned personal mobile devices. They include multiple things. They include that you will take proper care of that device and you will not lend it to others, that you are accountable and responsible for that device at all times, that you will bring it to school charged daily. You will not leave it in an unlocked vehicle or a place that is unattended. You're going to keep food and beverages away from the device and not take it apart or attempt repairs. You won't stack objects on top of them. You'll keep it in safe places, not use it near water. Leaving the district labels and accounting items on those devices, not defacing the serial number or other labels that we've placed. Should there be loss or theft, you'll file a police report, and you're responsible for all damages or loss that's caused by neglect or abuse of that particular device. We ask all of our students, regardless of grade level, to complete a student acceptable use policy. As a part of our board policy, our students recognize that in order to use our computer network, they agree to follow our acceptable use policies and rules, and our parents grant permission for our students to access computer services, including the internet, while we're at school. This is a copy of that form. As a part of signing out a mobile device in the district, you will complete a mobile device agreement form. That again affirms that the device is only going to be used by district students for educational purposes. You're not going to be using it for gaming, watching movies. If it's damaged or stolen, you'll report the device stolen immediately, and that you're responsible for the care of both the device and the charger, and it must be turned in upon request. One of the main platforms for content delivery in the school district is a service called Canvas. This is available for students and teachers across our district, and it's a place where teachers can make resources available to students very easily. Also create assignments, discussions, quizzes, and other activities for students. Students can access Canvas via ClassLink, as well as directly at york1.instructure.com. Parents can create observer accounts to receive notifications from and keep an eye on their students as they're working through Canvas. In order to create a parent account, and this is a one-time process that the parent can do one time, and it stays with that account the entire career of the student. Go to york.k12.sc.us/canvas, and from this page, first the student needs to sign in. The student signs in using their username and password. Once the student signs in, the student simply clicks on Account and Settings. From the settings screen over on the right side, the student would click on Pair with Observer. That will generate a pairing code that the observer needs to use as they go to create their account. You as a parent can write down this code. I suggest that you write it down carefully, paying attention to the capital and the lowercase letters as those are important. You can also highlight and copy them into a Word document and save somewhere else. When you're finished, the student can sign out, which takes them back to the login screen. At this point, the parent clicks the parent link, and new users of parent users of Canvas would click at the top to create a new account. The parent would enter their name, their email address, a password that they wish to use, and would enter the pairing code in this box. We could paste that pairing code and would enter the pairing code in this box. Click to agree to the terms of use and click start participating, and that would create the parent account. York School District 1 makes use of a service called ClassLink as a starting point for all students and staff for online resources as well as instruction. With a single username and password, our students and our staff can access textbooks, Canvas, Office 365, and many other services using just their one username and password. ClassLink can be accessed at my.classlink.com/York. We feel it's important that parents talk with their students about their values and expectations as they make use of internet resources while they're at home. The internet and other resources are incredibly valuable for our students as they continue to learn, and we thank you for your cooperation as we work to make these resources available to your students.